There's a really interesting story that has turned up today, and it's all a little bit Jurassic Park, and it's about a sofa. It's not about Boris Johnson, of course, but, nevertheless, still a sofa. And on the sofa there was a blood splatter, which turns out to be the blood of Hitler, Adolf Hitler. And that was collected by an American called Roswell P. Rosengreen and stored in a museum and has been accessed, and the DNA of Hitler has been accessed. Now, by analyzing the DNA of Hitler, various scientists, among them Professor Turi King, I think, have been able to ascertain that Hitler was definitely not Jewish, that rumor that he had Jewish blood simply wasn't true, that he was almost certainly prone to schizophrenia, he was potentially bipolar, that the joke in the song was true, that he was blessed with only one testicle, potentially autism and ADHD. But we know that this blood was definitely Hitler's because it's been checked for DNA against one of his living relatives. So, and then he almost certainly had a disease called Kallman's syndrome, which suggested he had a very low libido and spent most of his time plotting the overthrow of the rest of the world rather than humpty-bumpty on the sofa, which is probably why the sofa was stained with blood and not anything else. This is all broadcast in a program called Blueprint of a Dictator by Channel 4, clearly not by the BBC, which doesn't seem to make anything of value anymore. Now, I'm concerned about this because it seems to me not only does it have Jurassic Park echoes, but it worries me that if this has been done on one dictator, it could be done on others. And what, for example, could be discovered about Mr. Putin, should he leave his DNA lurking somewhere? Now, I gather that Putin travels with some soldiers who carry a suitcase with them, not because that contains the codes for nuclear tests, but because because any sort of deposits that he makes en route in the loo, any fecal deposits are then stored in the suitcase and carried back to the Kremlin, so that they aren't left behind, so that his DNA can't be accessed wherever he travels in or out of the Smeg fridge. So, would we discover, if we started investigating Putin's DNA, would we? I don't suppose anyone would be testing or would be speculating about his testicular arrangement, but I suppose people might be tempted to confuse his DNA with a lurking frozen cabbage or some frozen peas in the Smeg fridge. It would be interesting, but I think broadly not edifying. I don't think we should be going through the DNA of people from recent history. Richard III, maybe Richard III, and I think that's legitimate. But Hitler, Putin, Saddam Hussein, it all, President Assad, it all seems a little bit worrying that DNA can be accessed from a sofa. Boris Johnson, I'm sure there's DNA on his sofa.